Good evening and welcome to the devotional time. It's my pleasure to share a little bit of reading time with you in God's Word. It should be a daily habit, and that's one reason why I do this show. And in today's show, we're going to meet Ruth. Ruth makes a vow to God, and she gets a job. Let's get after it. I'm going to start with Ruth chapter 1. And we've already met Naomi. That's Ruth's mother-in-law. Let's see here. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Wherever you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord punish me severely if I allow anything but death to separate us. When Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her, she said nothing more. It's an interesting short little reading there. Ruth makes a vow to Naomi's God, and she puts in the proviso. The proviso is blah, 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 blah. Phew. The Lord, may the Lord punish me severely if I allow anything but death to separate us. That's pretty strong. So let's get on to chapter 2, where our reading begins tonight. Now there was a wealthy and influential man in Bethlehem named Boaz, who was a relative of Naomi's husband Elimelech. One day Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, "Let me go out into the harvest fields to pick up the stalks of grain left behind by anyone who is kind enough to let me do it." Naomi replied, "All right, my daughter, go ahead." So Ruth went out to gather grain behind the harvesters. And as it happened, she found herself working in a field that belonged to Boaz, the relative of her father-in-law, Elimelech. While she was there, Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. "The Lord be with you," he said. "The Lord bless you," the harvesters replied. Then Boaz asked his foreman, "Who is that young woman over there? Who does she belong to?" And the foreman replied, "She is the young woman from Moab who came back with Naomi. She asked me this morning if she could gather grain behind the harvesters. She has been hard at work ever since, except for a few minutes' rest in the shelter." Boaz went over and said to Ruth, "Listen, my daughter, stay right here with us when you gather grain. Don't go to any other fields. Stay right behind the young women working in my field. See which part of the field they are harvesting and then follow them. I have warned the young men not to treat you roughly. And when you are thirsty, help yourself to the water they have drawn from the well." Ruth fell at his feet and thanked him warmly. "What have I done to deserve such kindness?" she asked. "I am only a foreigner." "Yes, I know," Boaz replied, "but I also know about everything you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband. I have heard how you left your father and mother and your own land to live here among complete strangers. May the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge, reward you fully for what you have done." Wow. So When Ruth follows Naomi to back to Judah, does she just sit around and throw a pity party for all her tragedy in her life? No. Does she just hang around at the local community hall looking for a new husband? No. What does she do? She goes to work. Does she go and become a secretary in an office building? No. She takes on the lowliest job there is, following the harvesters and picking up the scraps they leave behind, just to take care of her and her mother-in-law, to meet their very bare essentials of needs. That is gumption I can only dream of. Yeah, there is something to meditate on. The book of Ruth is fairly short. We'll see how God rewards her diligence. You all have a great night. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. And our word of this week is still enigmatic. Take care.